Alright, so in the previous lecture, we finished up with our one-dimensional data structure, and that was the series, okay? So by now you've understood, hey, this is how a series works, this is how I can get data from a series, this is how I can get specific data, updating values, stuff like that. And we're moving on to our two-dimensional data structure, and that's called a data frame. So a data frame is a tabular data structure that comprises of rows and columns. And when you talk about rows and columns, well, you get the idea of maybe an Excel spreadsheet. Or if you've used R, maybe a data.frame object, something like that. But basically a concept of rows and columns. So if you guys have used Excel, if you guys have used maybe spreadsheets and stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Those are rows and columns. You have rows, you can specify the columns, stuff like that. And for the remainder of Pandas, or for most of Pandas, we're going to be using data frames. So let's go ahead and talk about how to create a data frame, how that works, and stuff like that. So import pandas as PD is going to be our first line, and that's always necessary to get those data frames, those series up and running. So let's go ahead and wait for that. Okay. Now we need our data. So the way this works is you can specify maybe a dictionary. So to create a data frame out of common Python data structures, you can pass a dictionary of lists to the data frame constructor. So if you're confused by what that means, let's go ahead and show you. First of all, we need some data. So the most common sort of data is normally like students, age, or let me think about this. So students, marks in subjects, I guess. That's how it usually works. So let me see. Okay, I think I got this. So let me get data back over here. Whoops. Okay. So the way this works is you say something like students, and then you say colon, and then I'm gonna put in some five students. So I'm gonna put AJ, Mark, Bob, Rachel, and Steven. I don't know, some 5 random names. Okay. So this is our first data. Okay. This is our first. I don't know what you want to call it. But okay, so this is giving me problems. Okay, so let me go to the next slide to make my code a bit more easier to understand. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll be just typing it in this. I know it might be a bit time consuming, but I really don't like the shell right now. So let me just quickly get that concept back over here. Import pandas as PD. Data is equal to, okay, and see, this gives me a little more leavage. So over here we're going to have students. Let me just copy that from here. Students is equal to those 5 random people. Command C, Command V. Okay. Now our next is maybe marks. So let's say maths. So what did they get in maths? Maths will be what was AJ's. I'm okay. I'm good at maths, so I'll give myself 98. This is out of 100. Mark was horrible. He got 50. I should not be doing that and that. So 98, 50. 23, 72, and 87. Okay, let's do science. I'm good at science as well, so let's go ahead and give myself 96, 45. This guy was very good at science, not too much, and he failed. Let's go ahead and do sports. So what sports did they play? I play basketball, table tennis, etc. So I'll just do basketball for my side. Mark did swimming. Bob did TT or table tennis. And Rachel did badminton. And Steven did taekwondo. I'm not sure if it has an E. That's okay. So taekwondo. So we got 4 sets of data. We have the students, we have math, science, the marks of maths and science, and then we have the sports that we play. I'm quickly going to check and see how to spell taekwondo, and it's with D-O, not D-O-E, so I'm good with that. Cool. So we got our data, and that's probably what we wanted. So I think you hopefully understand what's happening here. So the students, math, science, sports are basically the column names, okay? And then these are the column values. So in the first column, which is called students, we have 5 values. The second column, which is called maths, we have 5 values and so on. But as soon as we create our data structure or data frame, you'll understand what's happening. So now what you have to say is you have to call or create a data frame. So I'm going to call this data frame as students. And I'm going to say this equal to PD. Now, instead of using series, you're going to be using data frame. Hopefully you understood that. And now you're going to say data frame is equal to data. And then comma, you can say what the columns is equal to. So the columns here should be equal to basically whatever you put in your data. So data, comma, columns equal to our four things. So students, we had maths, we had science, and we had sports. Okay, so I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter what data you've used here. It just has to be equal. So if you had 5 people over here, you might as well do 5, 5, and 5 over here. You can have values empty, that works too, but it's better not to. And now what we have to do is just print out students. So print students. All right, save this F5. And let's take a look. It gives me invalid syntax. That's because I've used a semicolon. Ha ha ha. Save this F5. Okay, again, invalid syntax. So let me take a look. Let's see. It might be because of the space. I didn't give a space. Or let me take a look. Import pandas, data. Okay, I forgot the commas. Comma, save this F5. And we get, we are getting, yeah, cool. So we got students is returning us non. That means you couldn't find the data. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's wrong there. But math, science, and sports all have returned us the proper data that we wanted. So awesome job there. Let's go back and see why did it work. So students colon. Oh yeah, obviously it didn't work because there's only one value. So let me quickly change that. I'm sorry about that, guys. And now we should see our data frame. Taking a look, that didn't work as well. So let's go back. Let's see. Students colon. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry there, guys. Let me quickly. I think the problem is because my students over here isn't capitalized. Let me try that again. Yes, there we go. So I think this columns over here correlates to what's happening over here. So when you say pd.dataframe data, then after when you specify columns, you can change up how you want the columns to be. So do you want students to be first, then maths, then science, then sports? Or do you want sports to be first and then, you could change it to stuff like that. But now if you take a look, we have students, math, science, and sports with our indexation as 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Awesome job, guys. In this lecture, we learned how to use a data frame, how to create a very basic one, and specify the columns. So great job, and I'll see you in the next lecture.